Mr. Arthur Pringle was a quiet man. He lived in a small, tidy house on a rather ordinary street. He felt quite ordinary himself, most days, like a forgotten sock in a drawer. He worked at the town's button factory, sorting shiny buttons, dull buttons, all sorts of buttons, all day long. It was, you might say, very, very dull. Then came a Tuesday, or perhaps it was a Wednesday. The weather was simply horrid. Rain poured down from a grumpy gray sky. The wind howled like a hungry wolf chasing its tail. It was a truly dreadful sort of day, the kind of day that made sensible folks stay indoors, tucked up with a mug of hot chocolate and a book full of marvelous adventures. Mr. Pringle, however, was not indoors. He was on his way home from the button factory. His feet were tired from standing. His old umbrella had a cheeky little hole in it, so raindrops kept plopping on his head. He trudged along the pavement, splash, splosh, splash, dreaming of his warm slippers and a nice cup of tea by the fire. Suddenly, through the driving rain, he saw it. A little car, green as a pea, by the roadside. It was quite still. Its bonnet was open wide like a surprised metal mouth gasping for air. Someone was clearly in a spot of bother, a rather sticky, soggy spot of bother it seemed on this very wet and very windy afternoon. Oh dear, oh dear. Inside the little green car sat Mrs. Agnes Higgins. She had fluffy, silvery hair like a dandelion clock, and a very worried expression on her kind face. Her bags of groceries were on the back seat. Her ice cream, she fretted, was surely turning to soup. Botheration, she muttered, looking at the flat tire. A very flat tire indeed, as flat as a pancake, as flat as a forgotten promise. Mr. Pringle hesitated just for a tiny moment. The rain was coming down harder now. He was already as wet as a fish in a puddle, and goodness, he was tired of buttons. But his dear old mom always used to say, "Arthur, my boy, always be a good sort," so he took a deep breath and walked over. He tapped gently on Mrs. Higgins' car window. Mrs. Higgins jumped a little, then she saw his face. A kind, though rather damp face peered through the glass. Mr. Pringle offered to help change the tire. He got out his ancient toolkit from his bag. The jack was a bit rusty and groaned in protest. The wheel nuts were terribly stubborn, like little grumpy trolls guarding their treasure. And the rain, of course, did not stop its drumming. He worked and heaved and grunted. Mud splashed onto his only good trousers. Rain dripped steadily from the end of his nose. At long, long last, the new tire was on. Mrs. Higgins was enormously grateful. "Oh, you are a true angel," she chirped, her eyes twinkling. She rummaged in her bag and gave him a slightly soggy biscuit. Then with a wave she drove carefully away. Mr. Pringle trudged the rest of the way home. He felt a little bit warmer inside somehow, despite the cold wind and his squelchy shoes. He ate the soggy biscuit when he got in. It tasted surprisingly good, full of oats and kindness. He didn't think much more about the flat tire. It was just a thing he had done. Another Tuesday, or was it Wednesday adventure. But Mrs. Higgins thought a great deal about it. Such a very kind, drenched young man, she told her son, Tom. Her son, Tom Higgins, owned the Sweet Surrender Bakery. It was the best bakery in the whole town, everyone agreed. He made wonderful sticky currant buns and magnificent muffins, light as a feather. His cakes were famous for miles around. People queued for his warm, crusty bread. Tom was a good sort too, just like his mother. He listened to her story with a warm heart. He was very touched by the stranger's kindness. "Mother," he declared, "we must do something nice in return. A little bit of sweetness to pass it on." So, the very next morning a new sign appeared in his shop. "Free cupcake with every coffee, because kindness is sweet." What a truly splendid and delicious idea. A young woman named Lily wandered into the bakery. She was a writer for the local newspaper, the Daily Chit-Chat. She was having a thoroughly rotten, no-good morning. Her mischievous cat had hidden her favorite pen. The free cupcake, a cheerful cherry one, changed everything. It was so unexpected, so wonderfully sweet. It made her smile. A huge happy smile. Her favorite kind of cupcake, as it happened. Lily felt a spark of inspiration. A lovely, warm glow. It came from the sugary cupcake, perhaps, and from the cheerful sign in the bakery window, and from the story Tom Higgins happily told her, about a kind, anonymous man helping his dear old mom. She decided she would write an article about it, an article about small everyday good deeds and how they can spread like butter on warm toast. The article appeared a few days later in the Daily Chit-Chat for everyone to read. It was called "A Sprinkle of Kindness Can Go a Long Way." It did not name Mr. Pringle, of course, but it told of a quiet hero in the pouring rain. helping an old lady with a troublesome flat tire, and it mentioned the bakery's wonderfully sweet response. Many people read it, and it made them feel quite sunny inside. Mr. Pringle read the newspaper during his tea break. He munched on his usual button-shaped biscuit. He read about the kind man and the bakery. Sweet surrender, he thought, that sounds nice. I could certainly use a sweet surrender today. So, after sorting a mountain of blue buttons, he went there. He thought he might buy himself a small cake, a little treat for a long week. And who do you think he saw in the warm, sugary-smelling shop? None other than Mrs. Agnes Higgins, and Tom the baker, too. "It's him!" cried Mrs. Higgins, her face beaming. "My wonderful roadside rescuer, the angel from the storm." Mr. Pringle blushed a bright poppy red. Tom shook his hand with great enthusiasm. He was given free cakes and buns for a whole month. But best of all, Mr. Pringle felt happy. Really, truly happy. He wasn't so small or ordinary after all. His little act had made big ripples.